Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show as we get underway with our coverage of Slamdance. The best way to start it is to talk to some of the programmers, also the manager of Slamdance. I'm thrilled to have Clementine Leisure here. She is a Slamdance Festival manager right there. And next to her, Layla Hashemi, who is the programmer as well as a media marketing manager. Welcome both of you to the show.
Hey, Joe.
It's terrific to have you here. Well, I should say welcome back to Park City as well.
Yep.
How many years for each of you now?
Second year for us.
Second year.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about the difference between Slamdance and the other festival here in Park City. Why is Slamdance special?
I think one of the biggest things that people know us for is that our narrative features and documentary feature lineup is only for first-time feature directors under a budget of $1 million. So that kind of sets the difference between the two festivals. I would say the
Right
biggest thing, yeah.
Yeah, and from that, some pretty tremendous people have come.
Yeah.
Could you name a few that we would know?
Chris Nolan, Lena Dunham, Lynn Shelton,
The Russo
Right.
brothers.
the Russo brothers, Ben Zeitlin.
Yeah, and Christopher Nolan made a return trip, was it the year before last, back here to
think so,
Slamdance
yes.
to celebrate that success that he's had, starting right here.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. For you guys, as doing both programming and running the program itself, what has been, when you look at those successes, what has been the part that you've taken from that? What is your takeaway? How do you feel?
I think the most exciting thing is to know that when we are programming films, we may be discovering and meeting somebody who's about to have the most successful career that that they could ever have. Just
I say
by
the
being
cusp
here.
of greatness, right? That'd be,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that have you known that when you started programming? When you saw the film, you're like, oh my gosh, this is it. This person's going all the way. Do you know that going in?
Yeah. I think with some films, it's pretty apparent that you can see longevity in a director's career.
Right.
Yeah.
And can you tell me about some of your favorites? What has come through that has been special for you over the last couple of years? Especially narrative, I suppose. And we can talk about this year, really, if you like.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to talk about this year's films. I think that we have a lot of international narrative features that are very exciting to talk about, such as we're playing a 4.5-hour narrative feature from China called The Family.
4.5 hours. It's a little long.
It's
a little long,
but it's necessary.
Do we have a break in the middle?
There is an intermission.
Good, we need an intermission.
It's exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah,
he's coming from China.
I think it's his first time in the U.S.
His first feature. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And you've seen it, I take it. Is with the limitations that might exist in China, do you see that in the film in any way, or is this
it's about rural China and more like their older family that they're in their 70s. It's about a couple and their life and their children and grandchildren. It's kind of their life over, just the part of their family, and it's a family saga. So it's interesting to see that part of China in more rural, remote.
Well, we have a trailer for The Family. Let's take a look at it right now from Slamdance. It's The Family. All right, welcome back. And this film looks to be tremendous. As you said, 4 hours, worth all four,
Yes,
right?
correct.
It's not hard to sit through this one.
No.
These changes that we see in film, going to a different length, things like that, there are a lot of things that kind of come through Slamdance that are a little bit different. What are some of the other things that you've noted that are kind of different about the filmmaking that you see?
Well, I think a film like Kuro, as well, is something that you don't see often. That film is from...
It's a co-production between France, Belgium, I think, Germany, Luxembourg, and it's more than it's a narrative feature as well, but more on the experimental side of things. And the filmmakers are Japanese, and I think that we're seeing filmmakers taking risks in their storytelling,
right.
Kind of shying away from more conventional ways of crafting a feature and going to more minimalist ways of
breaking some rules,
completely,
right?
and that's, I think, what Slamdance likes. And
Yeah, I do too. And one of the other things that I think is neat is you mentioned the global side of this, where you might have a filmmaker from one country in another country filming about something that they have some interest in. That is something that we see very specifically, I've seen at Slamdance. And funding from some of those countries to make that possible is another thing that makes it unique.
Very much so.
In finality here, we're going to come back in a few minutes and talk more. We've got a break where we've got another guest, but when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the other very large departures from typical filmmaking with anarchy shorts, experimentals. Those are a blast. You guys have got to love programming those.
Yeah, those are probably the most
really
fun,
right?
And wild films. That
Sometimes, you know, maybe even unsettling would be the word to some people.
Yes, definitely something that maybe the regular moviegoer would be mind blown by.
Right. I'm very much looking forward to that conversation. The narratives can be seen each day as well. There's both narrative and narrative shorts. We'll be highlighting many of these here on the program. You guys going to be sending some of your best over to us?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that for sure, and as I hope you are as well. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. Darren Williams is here in studio. We'll be talking with him, and then we'll return with the ladies from Slamdance to talk about some of the more interesting and cutting-edge films that will be appearing at Slamdance. We'll be back right after these messages. You're back with us here on the Mountain Morning Show. Darren Williams will be up here shortly on the program, but I figured we'd just continue our conversation with the lovely ladies of Slamdance, and I am thrilled again to re-invite Clementine Leisure here, who is the Slamdance Festival Manager. She sits on my right, and next to her, Layla Hashemi, who is both a programmer as well as the Media Marketing Manager. Again, Slamdance, which of course is at Treasure Mountain each day, much different type of festival, but taking it even one step further with experimental and anarchy shorts. Talk to me about what these genres are all about and what specifically falls into them.
So experimental shorts would be films that do not have a narrative, so they can pretty much do whatever they want in terms of visual medium on, a screen.
Right.
So it's
anything you could watch,
yes,
essentially.
Exactly.
Regardless of the format or the way it's presented or a timeline
if
or
it's
anything.
projected and it does not have a narrative thread, it's pretty much an experimental film.
And this is different than many festivals. There are very few of these out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many festivals that, play a lot of films all over the world, but not many festivals that aren't underground film festivals have experimental short blocks. So it's really exciting to us to be able to support those filmmakers at Slamdance.
And this is, when you say there's a lot of festivals, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of festivals. You guys one of very few that really focuses on this. One of my favorite parts, for sure, the experimental is exciting and interesting, but anarchy shorts.
Yeah.
I've been to this before, and I have to say there were moments where I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you really? Am I watching this right now? And then asking myself, can I continue? And then I think it's a short, and so it's going to be over in a minute, right? And then something else comes up, and I'm like, wow, mind blown, literally. Talk to me about that part of it, because these are wild departures from what many of us think about presenting to others.
Right. Well, our anarchy shorts block are made up of films that are extremely transgressive and underground, anti-genre, out of the box, like you said, mind-blowing.
Subversive, could be experimental, could be just plain weird.
Yeah.
Right.
You name it.
Offensive sometimes. Yeah. I mean, for a purpose, even,
yes,
it seems, or maybe not.
And some of those films are just filmmakers just having fun or just pushing every single boundary that they can think of, and that's really probably the most exciting thing. And our programmers for that block, Burke Roberts and Noel Lawrence, are two wild guys too, and also underground filmmakers. So that's their baby, and they have a blast doing it too.
Does this, when you're a programmer for this, I got to ask, and you know them, so may speak for them in this case, but does it change you a little bit when you watch that many
I don't think it changes
different
them.
kinds of
I
films?
think that
No, they're already there?
they changed
Yeah.
they changed
Well,
film.
because typically the programmers from each genre have made a film in that genre for Slamdance, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So it shouldn't be too wild of a
this is
departure from
very
them,
much up their alley.
Yes.
right? They're interesting characters, is what you're
Yes,
saying?
characters, yes.
Absolutely.
Well, we need to get them here in studio at some point for
I
sure.
highly recommend it.
Right?
Yes, you should.
Now we're going to take a look at one film from these two groups. The film is Blua. We have a screener for that. Let's take a look at it right now from the Slamdance Film Festival. Here it is, Blua. The experimental category of Slamdance, that's Blua. This experimental category, this is pretty fun, I think, for most people. This would be something that if they're, if they've been to a bunch of docs, it's a real nice way to kind of round things out a little bit.
I think that both the Anarchy shorts and the experimental short block is something that if you're trying to watch something that's very much different and that's outside of, regular, more commercial, more accessible type of films.
Convention.
Yes, then that's, if you are looking for something different, then that's where you should be.
I find that the kind of interesting part about this too is the thought that you get from these. If you're looking to just move towards some different thought in your mind, this might be a way of starting some new ideas, some new conversations, so to speak.
The most exciting thing about those films is that you get to see the creative internal world of a filmmaker, of an artist, really.
Right. Truly the art of film.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. Specifically, the animal shot was just off. That's just amazing. That fox that looked spectacular in that monochrome. Do you guys find yourselves, do you get an opportunity to screen a lot? I mean, obviously as a programmer you do, but as a festival manager, do you get to go and sit down and watch some of these films?
We pretty much watch everything.
You guys see it all?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you all are participating in the judging as well, right? In some fashion?
No, we have jurors.
You have a juror as well. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, but you don't have a favorite category for the people in?
That's, we have an audience award.
The audience award,
and
which you'll participate in.
Right, and we have a Spirit of Slamdance award, which is determined by the filmmakers themselves.
All right. In finality here, I want to talk about what makes this place special. Treasure Mountain, it's a different place to go and screen a film. It is a different place to hang out. I, of course, love it because after a couple weeks here, we've met so many of the filmmakers that as you walk down the hall of Treasure Mountain, you know everyone.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's
you can high five your new pals and you're the programmers, and you can high five Peter Baxter, the president of the festival.
Yep.
All equally. It's a small place, so everyone gets to know each other and participate, and everyone will see each other's films. You become friends. It's a community.
Become part of that.
Yeah. A small space, so.
Doesn't hurt that you put everybody in a hot tub like night number 2, right? Everybody gets together early on and becomes friends, of course. And certainly characters coming through like Flula last year.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Kind of blows the place away, and you kind of just recreate it's a new Slamdance every year.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, as always, I want to thank you both for being here. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
for the festival, excited to see some of these films in the experimental and anarchy category. The narratives look to be terrific. Thank you so very much for the programming work and for putting the festival together.
Thank you.
Thanks
I look
for
forward
having
to
us.
seeing you at Treasure Mountain. We'll be up there all the time, and I hope you do high-five me. While we're there.
We will.
But I'll take a handshake for now. Thank you so very much. Make sure that you check out all the terrific films that really make Slamdance so special. The small screening rooms, the friends being with the filmmakers as you screen their films. It's a lot different at Slamdance. It is intimate and fun. You want to be part of that. And of course, the best part about it, there's tickets available for stuff. So make sure you get up to Treasure Mountain and participate in the cusp of filmmaking. Darren Williams is next on the program. We'll be back with that right after this.